Hey. Good morning there.
Yeah, my
Thanks.
finally.
No worry. Thanks a lot for being here today with us. It's a really pleasure. I'm listening your music about 20 years. Uh, like 20 years from Times of Grace era and As the Crow Flies. Um, and it's a special talk with for me, and I would like to say thanks to you for being with us
Well, thanks
today.
for inviting me, man. It's nice to be in Barcelona, sort of
Yeah.
virtually in Barcelona.
Yeah, I saw you two times with Neurosis in Apollo, and was I was on concert, and more than music, and this is one what we talk today, because your music, your art or your expression, seems for me more than music. Is I think unite unite with energies and other things. They are more than only music.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, it's a path of spiritual exploration. You know,
Yeah.
exploring the realms of spirit and as you said, energy and um, it's emotion. You know.
Yeah. It's no brain, only heart. No.
Well, you got to work with your strengths.
um, a week ago, you were performing within the Redux, a special live concert. Um, are you happy with the results with that recording?
Yeah, that was really uh, a great honor to be able to do that. I'd only found out I had the opportunity to do it several
Yeah.
weeks before, so it was a lot of work to put together the video crew and find the locations and
Yeah.
organize the musicians and rehearse the music and but it was very rewarding. You know, that's my favorite things to do is take on big projects and
Yeah.
find out how to make it all work, you know?
Mm-hmm. Um, it seemed to me the emotion crossed the screen. I saw the Saturday night here and the Sunday morning at 8 a.m. and was so special. The color, the sound, well, I've the the in my arm. Was a special concert, a special repertory.
Yeah, it was I mean, this whole new record of mine is a very unique place for me to be. I have never put out any music quite like it.
Mm.
I didn't really go looking for it. It found me. And so you know, I released those records last year during the lockdown and have never played those songs live. So to be able to sit in a room with other human
Mm.
beings and
Yeah.
perform it was really special. It brings something out different in me than I've been able to express before. And you know, I'm just very thankful that at this stage in my life, you know, 51 years of age, I still come
Mm.
across new things and I still have inspiration to go to new places. And I know that the
Mm-hmm.
best stuff is still in the future, you know?
Yeah. Always learning, always looking, no?
Yeah.
1 year of pandemic, 1 year touring with a touring, and the next week you uh, will releasing a new two new albums, but to explain and to understand, we need to go to past year.
Right. Yeah. It's when I first, so the new record that comes out next week is called A Deep Voiceless Wilderness. And it is an ambient record, but really it is the same record as No Wilderness Deep Enough, which came out last year. But it was the original way I heard it. You know, I was, my wife is from Germany, and we were visiting her parents on their land where they have lived for over 500 years on the same house site, you know. And I had many sleepless nights. I had really bad jet lag, you know. And so I was staring out her window, her childhood bedroom window, and just thinking about how different that land is with one family living on it for so long. And these energies just started flowing. I had a simple electronic setup, and I just started writing simple melodies. And, you know, long story short, because I've told that story a million times for anybody who's interested, but I basically I went down the rabbit hole, and I just kept following those sounds. Even when I got home, I kept following those sounds where they led me, and they led me to this ambient record. And it wasn't until I talked to my friend Randall Dunn, who engineered and produced my last solo record, that I said, hey man, I think I'd like to go book a studio time and replace my digital piano with a real piano and put some real cello in there. And what do you think? And he said, yeah, good idea. But he said, don't be a coward, sing on it. You know, sing on it and make it your new solo record. And I disagreed. I thought that was wrong. I thought the music was beautiful without my voice on it. And so the compromise was I investigated whether I should sing on it. I spent a week, and within a week I had lyrics and melodies, and I knew he was right. But I still like it without my voice. So here, you know, the following year, I'm releasing it the original way I heard it, which was without the voice. And I think it brings, even though it's essentially the same music, different things come out of it without a human voice to ground it, and without words to dictate the experience, you know. And yeah, and then you know, at that same time I released the album last year. I released my first book of poetry. And so next week I also release a spoken word LP of the poems in the book. So it's kind of like this whole cycle of my creative time, you know, is all learning different ways to follow the creative spirit and to follow the energy to where it wants to be, and to not second guess myself, and, you know, trust the art and trust the music.
The rabbit holes. You speak in a lot of interviews about the rabbit holes.
Yeah, always go down the rabbit hole.
What is there?
Like Alice in Wonderland, right?
Peter Kember from Spaceman 3 talks about the creation in the middle of nature with new songs. He's like a channel of the music. It's not 100% consciousness what he's playing. And when I'm reading the creation of last album in Niela's family house in Germany, I think you feel like this, taking the energies of the landscape of the roots of the air and express yourself. And the day after, listen this and don't be consciousness about you made this.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I try to express, but
yeah, no, I
sorry.
understand exactly what. Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, and that is absolutely how it feels. It feel. I don't feel that I made this record. You know,
Yeah.
that's why I said earlier. Like, I think it found me. It never felt like I was working on it. It never felt like labor. Even when I brought it home and I opened up those melodies and I went, "What is this?" You know, I never. The only time I really sat and worked on it was for 1 week when Randall told me I should sing on it. You know, I put a microphone in the house. I have a studio right here on the other side of this wall, but but my wife was back in Germany, and so I would just wake up in the morning with my coffee and a notebook and a pen, and I'd walk in and make a fire in the wood stove, and I would sing along to these tracks because it was the middle of winter, and I would improvise words, I would improvise melodies, I would go through my poetry journals and just take things that worked. And that's the only time where it felt like I was working. Every other time it felt like it just naturally came. And which is a blessing and a curse, because the blessing is that I keep finding these wonderful pieces of music out there, and the curse is that that process, I never feel like I never feel like I'm really any good, because I don't think that I didn't create it. You know, I didn't make it.
Yeah.
I can't take responsibility for it, you know, but maybe that's good too. I don't know. But keep the ego out of there. But but yeah, I mean, I live here in North Idaho on 12 acres of forest, and I really get a lot of inspiration from the dirt, the trees, the leaves, the sky, the clouds, watching the moon, watching the stars. All of that is just brings moments of peace that I can't find in the city. I can't find. I find other things in the city. I find, you know, humanity and art and music and cultures, you know, but sometimes I need space to breathe, and I need space to think about, like when I was at Neela's house, like thinking about how different the landscape here is. Like, this is still the American West. It's, you know, European people have only been here for a couple hundred years tops, and we haven't changed the landscape so much as those fields in Germany have been cultivated for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. People have been farming that land. It's not very wild, you know.
I'm from Basque Country and now live in Barcelona, but I'm from Basque Country, and when you speak about this culture with nature and folklore, mythologic, and these things, they are a strong culture in that land. I send to you after 2 or 3 things to see of this culture, because one of the things is the most oldest, the oldest language in the world is there in Basque Country. It's not they don't have a language.
Is that similar to Galician?
It's more or less. It's but
because I say they
similar.
Share the same thing. They say the same about that language.
Irish, Celtic, Basque Country have something of this, but more oldest.
Okay, cool.
I think you like it.
Yeah, cool.
Um, for the pot, this one, yep. Thanks, because they have in Germany, and 3 days
Cool.
in my house.
Excellent.
Yep. Poetry for you. You start with journals, before and after you make lyrics, and it's one day when you try to make a poetry book, or
You know, it's related to the record also. Like all of these things are like the representative of the same time, because it was. I mean, I've written poetry my entire life. My entire since I've been an adult, I've always written poetry, but I never publish it. I never thought it was worth publishing. It would either just kind of live in a journal and die in a journal, or occasionally, like mostly what I would use it for is, okay, now I have a song that needs words, and I would go look for words and steal them, you know, steal phrases. So sometimes
yeah,
song lyrics are very different. Song lyrics have to
yeah,
live in music. It has to sound right. You know,
mhm,
before it means anything, it has to sound right. It has to have the right rhythm,
yeah,
the right cadence, the
yeah.
right, you know, ah, e, ah, oh, you know, like what vowel
Yeah,
sound are you hanging on?
yeah.
What do you hear in the music? But poetry has to own a page. It has to
Mm,
own a piece of paper with no music to give it meaning.
mhm,
And so when I was during that week a couple winters ago, when I was writing those lyrics after Randall
mhm,
Dunn challenged me to sing on this music, I had my poetry journals open and I stole a line. Um, uh, we have the sea and we'll always have the sky. And I stole it from a poem and put it in the song.
mhm,
And I felt guilty because I
mhm.
was looking at that poem on the page
Yeah.
and thinking, man, that was a perfect poem. Even though I
Mhm,
didn't have any plan to publish it, I thought that this was a perfect poem, and I
mhm.
just took its best line, and now it's ruined. Now I fucked it up, you know. Um, and then I thought, well, why can't they both exist?
Yeah.
Maybe I can. I mean,
Mhm,
I stole it from myself, not from anyone else,
mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
So maybe it can live in a song and it can live in a poem. And then
Mhm,
the next thought right in that moment was, and maybe I should write poems that I don't steal words for from lyrics. Maybe I should write poems that live their own
mhm,
life as poems. And if I'm not going to do it now, you
mhm,
know, at 50 years of age, then when am I going to start? You know, if I love writing poetry, then what, maybe I should
mhm,
start to own it and take it seriously. And
mhm,
so from that day, literally within a couple of months, I just kept my journal. Those were the next 23 poems I wrote. The next 20 something poems I wrote were those ones that went in the book, and they happened
mhm.
very fast.
The first is the first. The first, the poem one is the first,
I don't know.
or
I don't know. What does that have those words in it? We have this. We
this
have the
says we
sea.
have the sea and we will.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Thank you.
It's so powerful. Powerful. I think your poetry have more, a lot of metaphors,
Mm-hmm.
metaphoras,
Metaphors. Yes.
metaphors, and landscapes, but mental, or yourself in there too. Big questions, and the natural elements.
Yeah. I mean, and that's one of those things when I look at my own poetry, I wonder, you know, am I overusing the natural metaphor? Do I use it too much? But the truth is, that's how I view that's how I view my life experience.
Mhm.
I frame my psychology, and I frame
Mhm.
the way I see the world in natural metaphor, because
Yeah.
I've had a longing my whole life to live in a culture that's more connected to nature. You know,
Mhm.
I'll never have it, you know, but I wish we lived in it. And so I've chosen to live around it, live in it, seek it out. And it's really the best way I know how to express the internal world, you know, like
Mhm. Yeah.
um, the cosmos out beyond, and the
Mhm.
cosmos we all have in here. I mean, it's like when you look the macrocosm and the microcosm. That's when you look at cells in a microscope and it looks like stars,
Mm.
or it looks like soup, you know, the way space looks, and everything resembles each other, and everything resembles itself, and ultimately it's all the same. We're all connected. We're all
Mhm.
born of space dust, right? We're all
When,
connected.
with with your poetry, do you put the two cosmos, the micro and the macro, um, are connected
Constantly.
and
Yeah.
at the same time, and this is I think so. It's special. Is they made for the mind are special.
Thank you. Yeah. And the other purpose of that metaphor is it's it's nice to hide behind. You know, I put my
Mhm.
feelings in it and I put my emotions in it, but I don't
Mhm.
feel like boring people with the details of my life. You know,
Yeah.
we all live the same emotional life. We
Yeah.
all live, we all love, we all have fear, we all um,
Mhm.
have the same emotional roller coaster for all
Mhm.
of us, with just the details are different. So, you know,
Mhm.
I have no desire to make my private life public, you know, but to be able to
Mhm.
express those feelings and those emotions and those thoughts and those questions and
Mhm.
philosophy and um, moods through music, you know, it was
Mhm.
my first
Yeah.
gift and love, and then through words, but not words that are logical. Poetry is not logical. It doesn't have to,
Mhm.
you know, I can't
Yeah.
write novels. I'm not a writer. I don't have that gift. I don't see things in film. I'm not a filmmaker. I don't have that gift. But
Mhm.
to kind of combine
Yeah. The
combine
ethereal,
language. Yeah.
the strong, the physical, the mental, yeah, elements like water, air, and roots, and other materials more strong, more in English. What's this? Ah, metal,
Solids. Yeah.
solid, solid. It's a that two things, ethereal or mental and solid, um, and the being human, poor human, only human.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's how I want to be. And that's what I think is um the best of humanity is when we can see the past for what it is,
Hmm.
have look to the future in ways that are positive instead of what we,
Hmm.
you know, and look to the stars and the cosmos,
Yeah.
which is sometimes people think of that as the future or the science fiction, but really it's the origin, right? When you look to the cosmos, when you look to the stars, you're looking for the beginning,
Yeah, yeah.
right? The beginning of everything. And um but doing that while staying rooted in the earth, staying rooted in the ground. So if you're not
Mm.
rooted in earth, we are earthlings, you know, we are children of this earth. And if we don't
Mm.
stay rooted to it, and we get caught up either in the human created false world, the distracted world of media and
Hmm.
TV, and
Yeah.
uh or we go too far in the thoughts without staying connected, we're in danger of floating aimlessly in nothing, in nothingness, you know. And I want to be rooted in earth. I want to learn how to be more rooted in the earth. I want to I don't know, feel connected. I want to feel, especially in times like now, you know, where we've had this pandemic and many people don't feel connected to each other because we have to have distance, you know, but we're all here on earth. We're all here. We're all connected. We're all children of this planet, you know, and always connected.
In the day by day, you are a teacher, a primary teacher. Neurosis takes a decision many years ago when you live in California, I think so, and stop the machine, stay pure in your art, and take careful with your families, and take time to children's family. Was the correct decision 20 years after this decision of stop and be a part of the industry?
It was absolutely the right decision on many reasons, and it, you know, part of it was to keep the art pure. But there's other more practical reasons, you know. It was not sustainable, you know. Like I think people who are not involved in underground music, on the, like, they don't have their hands in it, maybe don't understand like the economics, you know, of it. There's not money in strings.
We are not ready. Not ready for lawyers and ready for make great songs only.
Yeah, there's no, I mean, we could say we didn't want to be part of the industry, and that sounds good, but also the industry didn't want us to be a part of it either. So, you know, it was just not financially, you know, like, and we come from punk rock and DIY movement, and it's so there's never an expectation that strange, psychedelic, dark art has anything to do with money, you know. And if you have 5 families depending on people, you know, you just need to make sure you take care of it. And so we were trying real hard to tour a lot and see what would happen, but what happened was the realization that was not sustainable on an artistic level, on a personal level, financial level, or spiritual level. And so we didn't stop. What we did instead was slow it down so we would never have to stop, you know?
And wonderful albums before, after that decision.
Right.
Solo careers, great songs, still touring, playing in new cities, in new places. So they are more than industry or big industry or media industry. For a band like Neurosis, it's not a pop band. You speak about like you don't you don't show your music in a party. It's not party music.
Not unless you want everybody to go home.
But I think it's you are creating a place when you are playing live, and your solo careers too. I think so. You try to make a new place there with your music. There's no or a festival or a medium room, or No, it's Neurosis. When Neurosis is playing, that place is Neurosis.
That's the ideal situation. Yeah. And back in the old days when we had the psychedelic projections with us and everything, that was
Yeah.
kind of that was part of the intent
Mm-hmm.
was, to, no matter what club you're in, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
you know, that we can transform the space. And when we gave that up because the whole world became filled with screens all the time and everybody was always looking at screens and television,
Mm-hmm.
so we decided to go back to
Yeah.
purity,
Mm-hmm.
and just fuck it, white light and
Mm-hmm.
and five guys playing this music, and that's its own thing as well. And so what we learned in that is the music is powerful enough on its own to
Yeah.
transport people. We don't
Yeah.
we don't have the typical kind of loud, or we don't have that typical kind of audience that wants to do slam dancing and mosh, even though we come
Mm-hmm.
from that culture or whatever. It's ours is more people are there, they want to get lost in the music, they want it to be like a meditation, they want it to be like a healing activity. And I mean, that's what we want it for. I don't know where I would be psychologically or mental health wise or in life without music.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't find the ability to be a creative person and to want to experience that kind of music and that kind of power, that kind of magic, that kind of otherworldliness, I honestly have no idea where my life would be. It's given me everything, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Maybe it's more than a chord or a riff. Is the sound, the energy. Um, you say five guys playing, not no egos. It's a neurosis is higher than you or Scott or
Yeah,
it's more
I
bigger.
mean,
You
the way
you
the
play for neurosis, no play in neurosis. You play something like this.
yeah, it's definitely I mean, yes, we're involved in the translation and the creation. It's all comes through our filters, but it
Mm,
feels like and really all art and music to me feels this way. It feels like it already exists. You just need to learn to listen
mhm,
and hear it. And with five people working together on a single piece of music, you take turns being the voice of the muse and trying to see what is the music asking of us, what is the music demanding of us,
mhm,
you know how can we let it flow through us in the most pure manner. And sometimes it comes easy, sometimes you
mhm.
beat your head against the wall because it's not coming
Yeah.
through. uh,
Mhm,
and but it's the magic of having those unique filters and unique personalities and unique ways of seeing the world that
mhm,
makes it what it is. It's not songs written by one person and brought to a group.
mhm, mhm. Sounds like this. The result is that is I think they are five souls, soul, soul, soul,
So
souls. Yeah. Um, expressing, just expressing.
yeah, or one
Fingers
or one
moving,
bigger or one bigger
looking.
beast,
Yeah.
one beast controlling them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Um, you still feel that beast, be a part of that beast.
When the conditions are right and everything is pure and we can play music together and I can leave my body, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've never felt anything that's how I did. I I grew up not understanding very much about spirituality, being very anti-religion,
Yeah.
you know, but truly through the music is when I learned to appreciate those things that logic can't explain. You know, the realms of the spirit, the realms of the soul, the things that science can't answer.
Yeah.
Is through music. The power of music 100% drew me into that, you know, into the realms of spirit, you know.
Your live concerts, um, when they are the right conditions, seems to the public, to the audience, results. And from the audience, they are in with that beast in that moment.
Yeah,
They
and
are
sometimes
all
you can,
connected.
yes,
Talking with your Lali from Fugazi, he speaks about that moment when everyone is in the same feeling, and that was the more special moments in music.
Yeah, and you can hear it in a band like that, you know. You can hear the special, very unique approach, and all the parts working together, all the parts in unison and in sync, you know. And that's my favorite bands are the ones that feel like that, you know. That they feel a very original. They feel like they came out of nowhere. You know, if I can hear the brains turning, I'm not interested. You know, I wanna feel it. You know, there's a place for intellectual music, and some people really love intellectual music, but I need it. Like you said, I need heart music. I need soul music. You know, that's why I always thought of our music as soul music. I know it's not a genre, you know, but when people that were so, yeah, I mean, we're not, you know, we're not rhythm and blues, you know, but it's soul music. Like when I walk in a record store and I see our art sitting separated from some other music in the heavy metal section or something, I'm like, that's like
No.
it's not the point. It's not the point, you know.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I just had, you know, I guess the end all be all is I just have gratitude for finding music, for finding the DIY culture, for finding the guys in Neurosis, and for you know, finding all these different pathways to creativity. You know, like when I was a teenager and I discovered punk rock, it opened up the world to me. It opened up. I didn't have to be a great guitarist. I didn't have to be a trained musician. I just needed to be honest about my self-expression. And I found other guys who felt the same way, and we just wanted to make fanzines and make flyers and put on shows, and that's why right now I'm in the Neurot Recordings office here in our barn, and I have a record label because I always wanted to participate in creating culture, you know, and offer the same opportunities that Neurosis was given to other bands as they are trying to find an audience and wanting to express themselves in unique and interesting ways, and you know, just however I just whatever path it was that I stumbled on as a teenager, finding punk rock with a few other people, you know, in school or whatever, changed my whole life, you know. Every bit of it. I wouldn't be in this house. I wouldn't be in this landscape with the friends I have, with the family I have. Every choice leads to the next, you know, deciding whether to turn left on the next street or turn right on the next street changes everything in the future. You know?
Yeah. Your beginnings in the DIA culture in Bay Area. You talk about you with 15 or 14 years like a shy guy, nervous, and but with a lot of thoughts, with make fanzines, or recording, make a band. That energy is still now in your
Oh
new
yeah,
project.
totally.
It's
Yep.
the same view.
Yeah. Yep. You know, and it's it's just that longing to be a part of the alternative
Mhm.
for humanity. You know, the real culture comes from the people, not the media. You know,
Yeah,
the real
yeah.
culture comes from human beings, not corporations.
Mm. It's real culture, the creation, the language of energies, and this is there's pieces from a lot of years. Neil Young talks about this, but be a part of one thing more than himself.
Yeah.
We are connected to the tradition, to the folklore.
Yeah, and as an American from the especially from the West, you know, it's
Mm,
um, we have lost a lot of the connection to the older folklore and the older things. You know,
mm.
uh, in our history and in our legends and our things, it's all very young. It's all very new. All the stories are new. All
Yeah,
the buildings are new. You know,
yeah.
unless you're an indigenous American. You know, and then.
Mm,
But so I've always been fascinated by those older stories, you know, who put
mm.
those giant stones
Yeah.
in the landscape, you know, who painted inside the caves, you
Yeah.
know, and who were those first artists, and who were those people that
Mm,
decided to do something bigger than themselves, that needed to do something more than just, I mean, you think of early humanity and just how hard it was to survive, you know. But
mm,
at some point, some conscious humans said, well, no, we need to stop right now and make some art. We need to do something creative.
yeah.
We need to paint our experience. We need to paint our ideas, or we need to build a giant monument to uh,
Mm,
our ancestors or to the earth, or we need to build something for the sun, you know.
mhm,
And that's just fascinating to me,
mhm,
that was the kind of our first becoming larger cultures, you know. And then somewhere along the way,
mhm,
I mean, I don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, as we say. We still do amazing things. Our
mm,
species still is capable of amazing inventiveness, amazing creativity, amazing technology, amazing um, invention. Uh,
mhm,
but somewhere we lost that the driving spirit of, again, back to that connection of
mhm.
connection to the earth, connection to each other. We're all, you know, develop these things for the betterment of all things on earth, of all people on earth, of all um, things that are of beauty in the natural world, not just for money or profit or self-centeredness.
You are more comfortable with that values in Idaho, um, a little bit isolated from the modern culture than being in California.
I like having the space and being, I need to live in the nature, because
Hmm.
if you have to go visit, when you have
Yeah,
a busy lifestyle, how often do
yeah,
you go? You know,
mhm,
once a year, twice a year, you know?
yeah.
So this way I wake up in it. When I come home from work, I'm in it, you
Mhm,
know? That's what I need. I need more space, and I can't, I don't want to hear the neighbors in the building next door, or you know, the house next door. Uh, you know,
Not in that moment.
yeah,
Not
you
now.
know. But the trade-off is, and I'm sure it's very similar over there, is when you go to
Yeah.
the countryside, when you go to the rural communities, sometimes that
Mm.
also puts you in the culture changes, you know, and at
Yeah.
least here, it puts me in I'm definitely surrounded by a much more conservative culture, which sometimes can be quite alarming
Yeah.
and and uh, frustrating, and not understanding where that mindset comes from, you know. But
Yeah.
then I
Yeah.
remind myself I'm here for the trees and the animals, not the people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a stop the time. Being in that landscape, in uh, around in trees, and it's a I think for me being nature is like a stop the moment and be a part of this.
Mm.
um, uh,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's one of the things I was looking for when I moved here is, you know,
mhm,
in you know, California, where I lived in the Bay Area, we didn't really have true seasons. You
mhm,
know, I wanted to live somewhere that had winter, you know, and
mhm.
lots of snow. I want to live somewhere that has a true spring and a
Yeah,
true fall.
yeah,
Like I want
yeah.
all four. I want all four seasons. And and I like that um, when you live in a city, everybody lives the modern life, and they don't.
Mhm.
At least Europe is a little bit different because you have a history
But yeah.
of you have a history of especially I believe Spanish culture and Italian culture.
Mhm,
They believe in having some downtime. You
mhm.
believe in having relaxation and having
Yeah,
you know, modern America, no, you
yeah,
you
yeah,
work. You don't stop.
yeah.
You get home and you keep working, right? And
Mm,
um, so we don't. So I like living in a place where sometimes nature forces that. You know,
mhm.
if you're in a hurry and the you know all those busy modern things are waiting for you, and you know 1 meter of snow falls in the night, you're not
Mm.
going anywhere. You know, your
Yeah,
your day has just been changed by Mother Nature. You
yeah.
know that the first thing that you're going to do is deal with
Mm.
snow, and you're
Yeah.
going to get out there and
Take
move. Yeah, you have to get the road clear. You know, the first
yeah.
thing you're going to do is take care of that, or you know, or it knocks the power out and you have no electricity. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go out and get a fire going.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
to keep the house warm, or um, uh, you know, just those little things like walking out here. Instead of walking out onto a street out of my door, I walk out into a forest and just
Mhm.
smelling like, oh, smells like rain. It's going to rain
Yeah.
today, you know.
Mhm.
And those are things when you're busy in the city you don't think about all the time. You know,
Yeah.
that's just, oh, the disgusting streets are wet now.
Yeah.
You know.
uh, uh, People from sea feels this when he's raining. The air.
Right. Yeah, you feel it in the air, like, oh, here it
Yeah.
comes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, you know,
Yeah.
so I think I've gotten a little bit better since I've lived here. I've been able to recognize those things more. You know,
Mm.
I walk around my property every morning with the dogs, and we
Mhm.
you know, I start to recognize what plants are going to sprout
Yeah.
when, and what, you know, maybe what their uses are, what they were used for, and what the animals are doing. You know, follow their
Mhm.
footprints and see what they're doing, knowing what birds are coming back
Mm.
when, what time of year.
Yeah, more than music, I think you are more inspired in the last year from these things.
I think so. It's always from all of it. I'm a hopeless music addict. You know, I still buy records all the time. I'm
Yeah.
still always looking for that sonic holy grail, you know, always looking for uh, what's inspiring, you know,
Mhm.
and what's new or what's old I haven't heard yet. I don't
Mhm.
know. Hopelessly inspired by music, always.
You speak in one interview about two bands like Joy Division and Pink Floyd. And you like it? One um, era, an era of Pink Floyd, the psychedelic years. Um, and all for me it's Umaguma and
Umaguma.
Medley.
Umaguma. Yeah.
They are.
Oh, hey, there's your cat. Hey, cat.
Yep, this one.
What's up, kitty? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, Umaguma is just about perfect. The most perfect moment of Pink Floyd is the set they
Mm,
played at the Live at Pompeii.
mm,
The Live at Pompeii set is the best because it pulls the best
yeah,
songs off of metal
yeah,
uh, and Umaguma, and it takes all my favorite songs. Yep, careful with that
yeah.
accent, Gene, as somebody just wrote there. Um, all of that is the best, and not only that, but just those particular performances are better than the album
Mm,
performances. Um,
yeah.
it's just incredible, and it sounds great,
Mm,
and it was so original. I don't buy into the mythology of the Sid Barrett years being the better.
mhm,
You know, I understand people like the story, uh,
mhm.
but the story is better than the music.
Yeah.
The music of after Gilmore took over and before Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
That to me is my favorite. I also like After Dark Side of the Moon. I like Welcome to the
Mhm.
Machine. I think is one of the most
Yeah.
incredible songs ever. Um, but and Joy Division, yeah, man, they sounded so unique coming out of nowhere. They sounded uh, like they had invented their own new style of music. I mean, they were clearly
Mhm.
inspired by punk rock to express
Yeah.
themselves in a new, unique way, but their tones were unique. Their use of space, they didn't feel
Yeah.
the need to fill the space. They have
Yeah.
like, I mean, I know it's even a fucking song title, but atmosphere. You know,
Yeah.
they had a lot of atmosphere, and I know also that's a band where the story gets in the way of the music sometimes.
Mm.
Uh, but the music just on
With
its own is perfect. It's perfect music.
yeah.
So great. Those bass lines, the unique approach to guitar, the great rhythmic uh, drumming, and his beautiful voice,
Mm.
you know, and great
Yeah.
lyrics. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
With three notes. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun, dun. Yeah, repeat, repeat,
it's
repeat,
all you need.
repeat, repeat.
It's all you
Mantra.
need.
No rules. No. No rules. It's no longer. Is no rules.
No.
Everything's okay. Just explore yourself and enjoy.
Yep. Just mean it.
Yeah. Um, your solo albums, they come from as the crowd flies is acoustic, and your last album is only instrumental and without guitar.
Yeah, it
But
was just the natural evolution, you know, like
yeah, yeah. But
when I,
everything sounds like you.
well, no escape, no escape from myself, I suppose. Uh, you know, it's just, and I never even intended to start. I guess the as time goes on, the more I learn to
Mhm.
appreciate how much everything feels like an accident. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like I didn't mean to start a solo project.
Mm-hmm.
That As the Crow Flies record was the result of since I was a teenager, I always had home
Mm-hmm.
recording equipment. I always had the small, 4-track studio or 8-track studio, just simple stuff. And I was sitting
Mm-hmm.
down in the late 90s and I realized I had all these songs that I had recorded that I would tend to do really late at night when I still lived in the cities. And it was the only time it was quiet enough to, to grab a guitar
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
whisper something
yeah,
pretty to myself,
yeah.
in a quiet voice. And, and hear it reflecting off the walls back at me. And at one point I realized I had a body of songs that had no home. It was not Neurosis. It was not experimental Tribes of Neurot stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, shit, I guess this is my personal music. This is, so
Mm-hmm.
I took, and I felt pretty self-conscious and nervous about it, about putting my own name on the music because I didn't want to come across as being egotistical or something,
Yeah.
It's really, um, I mean, it took me years and years to accept the fact that I should put a T-shirt with my name on it because that just
Mm-hmm.
seemed like weird. Why would I put my name on a T-shirt? That's, I mean, I get that negative voice always saying, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
who the fuck are you to think you get to do that? Um, but yeah, so after like throwing those first
Mm-hmm.
songs out there into the world, that opened up a pathway that led to all the
Yeah.
records after. Then, like, okay, now I have this as a
Mm-hmm.
path of self-expression. Now I have another way to express
Mm-hmm.
my internal self out there to the world. And I think, uh, again, kind of obeying the art. Like, is it good enough? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that punk rock,
Mm-hmm.
again, punk rock
Yeah.
came in. Well, you just have to be honest. It doesn't have to be
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
best. It just has to be honest. And, and following the accident of No Wilderness Deep Enough, of following those
Mm-hmm.
sounds. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
I sit down and say in my brain, I want to make an ambient record? No, I did not. I just,
Mm-hmm.
I felt something, I recorded something, I listened
Mm-hmm.
back to it, and I thought it was interesting enough to keep working on,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened. And it, again, I feel lucky to always be stumbling into these ideas which seem worthy of putting in the world.
Mm-hmm. The new album, I think, is spiritual and honest. Sounds so natural. It's precious.
Yeah, I mean, it came
When
naturally. Again, like if I
mm,
sat down in my brain and I thought, okay, well, I want to make another record like that, I don't think it would. I would hit a lot of dead ends because um, I think the secret is creating a space
Mhm,
and an environment to allow those things to happen,
mhm,
as opposed to
mhm.
like forcing them to happen. It's just,
Yeah.
preparing, having a studio, having a space, having recording equipment, so that
Yeah.
when it does come,
Mhm,
you can catch it.
yeah. Yeah. The first album, As the Crow Flies, I read in some interviews, you think your music is positive. Is one thing positive or one thing to make a better day and express all the ghosts, all the doubts, all the dark questions, like a catharsis, catharsis,
Catharsis, yeah.
yeah, catharsis. Um, and always I listen your music like positive music. And this thing I will to say to you, when my parents died in 1 year, my mom died and my dad died. I'm 24 years, and I listen that album and help me in that moment. Help me that music. And my friends don't understand. What are you doing? I'm listening to I'm great.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I use music to save me all the time. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest compliment I could ever get is that, you know, my strange self-expression gives anybody else some joy, then everything
Mm,
is worth it. You know, it's kind of like when I got into teaching, like, you know, if I could help one
mm,
kid, you know, if I teach for 30 something years and
mm.
somehow keep one kid from going to jail or something, you know,
Yeah.
because he learns to read,
Yeah.
then it'll all be worth it. So, you know, that alone right there, your story makes it all worth it. But I mean, that's what I use it for, is to help
Mm-hmm.
myself. It's my own therapy to make the music.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah.
also have those records. I'm a music fan. I have, I mean, I'm staring right there and I'm just in the office and there's hundreds of records here and there's hundreds of records in the house. And
Yeah.
I use music all the time
Mm-hmm.
to save me. You know, sometimes I
Yeah.
need sometimes I need, uh, uh, sorry, I was distracted. My daughter is here. It's her birthday. We're going to make her breakfast.
um,
So I need to go pretty soon. But
yeah, 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 yeah.
but I
Of
mean
course.
I you know, sometimes I need those albums that just let the water fly out of the
Mm-hmm.
eyes and that, you know,
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
purge it. Sometimes I need those records that make me drive too fast and, you
Mm-hmm.
know, on the
Yeah.
you know, and sometimes I need those ones that just feel like old friends.
Mm-hmm.
Uh you know, and or those ones that help me go to sleep. You know, I mean all of it, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
ones to stare at the clouds on a slow morning, the ones to go chop firewood to, uh,
Mm-hmm.
all of it. I mean, I don't know how I would cope without music.
Mm. The if you wanna go with your family, don't worry.
Yeah, we can do
Sure.
a couple more minutes, but then
Yeah.
I need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. mm, Well, you are here now, speaking with me and with Instagram. Um, Last week, making a concert with Red Band Redux. Do you think it's a momentary? The, these platforms, these places, this space is a momentary for that times, that 1 2 years.
Hmm. Well, it's hard to say because I mean, everything is momentary, is it not? I mean, it's
No, I think it's so special. I'm sociologist and coming 20 years in human resources, making interviews, not in English, but I think it's a special moment for connect with people around the world.
yeah.
Talking with Dave Abruzzese, with Joe Lally, with Peter Kember. I think it's um, an irrepeatable experience. Today you are here. Um,
I agree. It
I'm
definitely it forced a lot of I mean, difficulty and trial and tribulation and
mm,
always forces good
yeah,
creativity, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so um I think the way that the creative communities have responded um
mm,
with using technology and using the internet and
mm,
Instagram and Facebook and YouTube,
yeah,
um, and even things like Zoom and
mm,
Skype. Uh, it really forced a lot of great creativity and forced people to not take the world for granted as they understood it. You know, the only constant is change, and all we can do is adapt and persevere and go to the next thing, you know, in the next way. And so, yeah, I've been grateful for the technological ways of staying in touch with people and friends and creative types, you know, and so I think some of this has planted seeds for at least our music community to do things using technology more often. You know, I think it has changed things forever until the technology changes again, you know.
Yeah.
And then the future, when the world opens back up, because it will someday, you know, and we can it'll never be the same, but it'll be some of what was, some of what is now, and some of what we don't know yet.
And so,
yeah.
We hope to see you in concert.
I would love to be there as soon as the world opens up and it's okay for, you know, Americans to travel to Europe and safe for everybody. Then I can't wait to get there, and I would love to come to Barcelona again.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure to be here with us and with me. So
well, thanks for inviting me. It was great.
No, thanks to you, and enjoy your day. Be happy with family, and always creative.
All right, man.
In the other side, we are a lot.
All right.
Thanks.
You take care, and take care everybody for watching. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. A big hug. Bye.
Bye.